Controllers maketh gamer. Your controller is a conduit, the AOL chat room between gamer and game. A bad game with a good controller is debatably bearable, but you are sorely mistaken if you expect me to play Hollow Knight with the Go-Go Gadget carpal tunnel. But at the same time, it's kinda cute. I mean, sure, it looks like a garage opener did it with a bike lock and the resultant love child was run over by a semi-truck, but there's something endearing about it. I love the attempt to innovate, because although most of the time you get these, occasionally you'll pop out one or two of these. Today I'd like to examine the good, the bad, and the ugly of experimental controllers. Controllers that make you say, "Oh, pip pip cheerio, these controllers are most unorthodox. I am both flummoxed and disconcerted. Wilfred, fetch me my hoop and stick." So the first category I'd like to talk about is just that. Whole entire standalone absolute unit WWE Heavyweight Championship ladder match for the custody of Dominic, open parenthetical, yes, that is a real wrestling match, and it is wild, close parentheses, controllers. Or, for the layman, standalone controllers. In the year 15 BC, BC of course standing for before Minecraft, Nintendo launched the N64 with its world-renowned Wiener controller. This was an absolute travesty and widely regarded as a mistake. So much so that other companies tried designing their own substitutes, like this abomination. Made and designed by Newbie, which...
I'm a little newbie booby. I'm a newbie booby. Okay.
There you go.
At least if you throw it in a fit of gamer rage, it'll come right back to you. It's a good thing gamers are known for learning from their mistakes, because this almost became the standard PlayStation 3 controller. Also made for the PlayStation was this Namco controller that twists around the middle in case you want to feel like you're wringing out a towel while you play fucking Klonoa. One of the Dragon Quest games came with this sword controller, because everybody knows swords are at their coolest when they're fucking sheathed. The handle does twist, and it's got these big baby buttons, so it's basically a medieval bop it. Speaking of Dragon Quest, you know those cute little slimes that are in every single game? Well, now you can tickle his little taint and get tendinitis at the same time. Thanks, Mom! Now that's out of pocket, but there are worse ways to play a game. There was a brief, dark period of my life where I was stuck with nothing but a trackpad to play games with. That is a fate I wouldn't wish upon my worst enemies. It's the goddamn gaming equivalent of getting hit in the shins with a razor scooter. So, naturally, the Shadow Council of Lizard people over at Valve said, "Yeah, I thought of something funnier than a trackpad." Tell me. 2 trackpads? You're sick. But now they've announced the Steam Deck, and I really like the idea of being able to play my Steam games on a handheld. But you just made the Wii U with trackpads. Have we learned nothing? Plus, you have to pay an extra $130 on top of the already aggressive base price just for it to be able to hold one modern AAA game, and even then there's no guarantee it can run it, so all the games I can really see myself playing on it, I can already play on a Switch. Get back here, young man, you are not off the hook. How about we talk about Robert, aka Young Lego Mindstorm, or the Power Glove?
I love the Power Glove. It's so bad.
Now that I think of it, most of the weirdest controllers come from Nintendo, and their experimentation really paid off when they released the Wii, ushering in the era of motion controls. We'll get into this more later, but the Wiimote was beautiful because it was diverse. It could be a golf club, boxing glove, steering wheel, airplane, giant snake, birthday cake, large fries, chocolate shake, even a trumpet. So Sony caught wind of this and created their own version, PlayStation Move, which, oh my god, can we get a blur on that? Also, can I please stop listening to Wii music? Thank you. Although, I guess that transitions us well into our next category, music. Rude. Me and Dolores here have been through fire and flames together on medium difficulty because the orange button really hurts my little pinky. When Guitar Hero came out, it was a cultural zeitgeist and inspired tons of children around the world to learn actual guitar. But Guitar Hero also had drums and vocals, and there is a whole smorgasbord of various other musical controllers from the era. You've got Guitar Hero, DJ Hero, DS Hero, a Rock Band literal MIDI controller, Samba de Amigo maracas, a drum for this game. Control A, Control C, Control V, you've got yourself the DK bongos. Now these bad boys were mainly used for Donkey Kong Jungle Beat. Excuse me, am I beating the ever-loving shit out of a giant sumo gorilla on the back of an asteroid that is currently deorbiting and hurtling towards the surface of the Earth? Yeah, I'd like 30 copies, please. But they were actually released with the game's lesser-known cousin, Donkey Konga. And then, born of this golden era, descended an immaculate creation, Dance Dance Revolution. And by the power of Grayskull, did it revolution. Much like video games themselves, DDR found its origin in arcades until visionary dentist Daniel Dance Dance, or as his colleagues call him, Dr. DDD DDS, said, "Yo, we could slap this shit in every home in America." And they did, and it was amazing. And in the wake of this divine intervention, companies began to realize that we could just use our bodies as the controller. I mean, people had dabbled with this in the past. Back in the 80s, there was the Power Pad and the Atari Joy Board, which... Sure. Dear Santa, roses are red, violets are blue. I need this for Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2. But now Nintendo had suckled from the fountain of Dance Dance Revolution, and they wanted more. So they released Mario DDR. And then the seed had been planted for a sneaky little idea. Enter Wii Fit. This little guy waltzed into our homes, kissed us on the cheek, slipped $90 from our wallets, and then slid into storage under the couch, never to be seen again. And as a little cherry on top, if the board registered your BMI as obese, it would play this sound. Fortunately, Xbox said, "Mom, get the camera," and swooped in with the legendary Project Natal. They built it up for years, and with all that research and development and unadulterated hype, there's no way it could fail. Right? Well, I wrote a song about it. Wrong. Dead wrong. They way overpromised and way underdelivered, completely scrapped some projects that were main selling points, and had exactly one good game. Oh, also it might have been just a teensy bit racist. Oopsie. And now I guess we're back to hoop and stick? Now some of you are saying, "But I play games to exercise my mind, not my body." And alright, cool your jets r/atheism. We're getting there. The distinguished gentleman remembers Mindflex, that toy where you levitated a ball through some hoops by attaching nipple clamps to your earlobes, until scientists realized they could extend this technology beyond Dyson fans into the gamer sphere. Is aiming the Nest Blaster and pulling the trigger a little too convenient for you? Then I'd like to introduce you to the laser scope. Aim with your right eye and shoot by shouting fire, which means if you were to use this thing in a crowded movie theater, why the hell are you projecting a 256 square pixel image onto a 40-foot screen, you goddamn maniac? Now, this is epic. That's what it's called. It's Project Epic, but with an O. This web of electrodes claims to be able to read your brain signals and convert them into game inputs, but the only demo I could find of it just has the guy using gestures. So he looks around with his head, smiles to walk forward, and winks to shoot. Basically, instead of telekinetically controlling the game like some kind of earlobe wizard, you just look like Professor Xavier singing Corky Buchek. You know Corky Buchek?
Bing bang, bing bang, bing, ding 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 ding.
At one point, he does have it quantify his excitement level, and he uses it to reload, of all things. So that's pretty sick. But as far as I can tell, the project has been completely stagnant for like the last decade. That's okay. That's just diaper baby variety hour compared to this next contraption. It's just my favorite. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I put forth as evidence U.S. Patent 5697363, otherwise known as the Petty Sedate. This Fisher-Price looking headset plugs into your child's Game Boy so they can hear the audio in their headphones. All right, I'm with you so far. Meanwhile, this convenient little snorkel administers enough nitrous oxide to knock your kid the fuck out. Dude, I cannot make this shit up. Look at him. He's like, wait, did I even save my game? Imagine being in fucking Lavender Town as the NO2 kicks in. An actual waking nightmare.
Nightmare.
Is that shiny Pokemon? Conceptually, I get what they were going for, and maybe if their pitch video wasn't so threatening and it didn't look like something you win in an arcade, they might have made it out of phase 2 clinical trials. But alas, looks like doctors are gonna have to stick with the tried and true bonk method for now. I gotta get this soap scope, I gotta find out who's Marowak. There's no way we can top that. The category's done. We 100%ed it. Just roll the G-dang slide. Sometimes people just can't let a good thing lie. Take Star Wars. It was a great, somewhat schlocky sci-fi movie with heart and passion. And so they made 11 more movies, 11 spin-off shows, over 140 games, and a gorillion books and short stories. And some of them are fantastic. But the word some is doing a whole lot of legwork in that sentence. The same thing happens in the game industry. Take the DS. The whole console is the controller. All you gotta do is give the players a cheap plastic stylus. There's no way anyone can mess it up. Well, I wrote a song about it. Mew with a penis, I just can't help this feeling that if you are hanging dong, then does that mean that Mewtwo is dual wielding? Not to mention the 13-key piano, drum pads, rumble pack, memory expansion, pedometer, camera, and blood test attachments. I sincerely love all of the medical tech that's been integrated with game systems. I think it's a great way to use the power of devices that most kids already own to help them be healthy and build good habits like checking their blood glucose. Within reason. But the king of all controller attachments will always be the Wii. The Wiimote is the Swiss Army knife of gaming. Motion controls combined with it having the design complexity of a cinder block allowed both Nintendo and third parties to just pump out a plethora of accessories and accoutrements. I'll never forget one year at the Scholastic Book Fair, tucked away in a corner was this $10 pack of cheap plastic Wiimote accessories. And I went home and I begged my mom and she eventually caved and we filled out the form and I brought it to school and I protected that piece of paper with my life. And like a month later, a chorus of angels rang out as I entered the classroom and I saw that sacred bag atop my desk. So I brought it home, I unpacked it, and in it was this sword attachment for like Skyward Sword or Twilight Princess, except psych, idiot, it was designed by a baboon so the blade part blocked the motion sensor and it didn't work for any of those games. But as a kid, that didn't matter. This wasn't a toy or a device to interface with a screen. This was my motherfucking Excalibur. Finally, I could go toe-to-toe with Luke's foam bionicle sword or that kid down the cul-de-sac with the light-up lightsaber. This was my ticket to the top. The tennis racket attachment with the exact same design flaw? No. That was a snowshoe for trudging around the harsh Himalayan terrain on the mound of mulch in the backyard. That's the point I want to drive home. These controllers can offer so much more value than just their utility. Sometimes that value is as a collector's item. Sometimes it completely changes the way you interface with a game. Sometimes you just want to go full force, or sometimes you want to see who can win a brawl match with the gall-darn fishing rod. I guarantee you could go to a thrift shop near you right now and find an assortment of kitschy Wii accessories for like 75 cents that will give your kid infinitely more entertainment than a $100 Robo ripoff. Yes, I am still mad about that. Clever girl. And therein lies the magic of the Wiimote. I'm talking golf club, I'm talking baseball bat, ping pong paddle, bowling ball, football, gun, helmet, bike. Bike? Do you guys remember how much better the steering wheel made Mario Kart Wii? Well, they made a whole inflatable cart accessory for the ride or dies out there. Side note, if you played Mario Kart without motion controls, you're a coward.
I will have my revenge, Caroline.
There was a pitch for a game called Wah Wah Woo Wah, where this gremlin would vor your Wii remote and you would use the stuffed animal as the controller. This probably could have taken off if the creature wasn't such a freak of nature. Ew! Get away! You could have had a bunch of different animals and turned this into the motion control Wii Webkins or Weebkin. Never mind, I don't like that. I don't like that. Moving on. Instead, we got not one, but two different games where you put the Wii remote inside of a baby doll and take care of. Officer, no, it's a YouTube video. Or you could use the baby for Wii Sports in lieu of having boxing gloves. But any true fighting gamer knows that these, and even these, are little pussy baby. Sorry, my dog is interrupting filming. What's that, boy? You smell a bunch of little newbie boobies? Me too. Ooh, we are like 20 floors up. I don't really have a soapbox to stand on. I'm completely incompetent when it comes to fighting games. I wouldn't last a second in the Smash community. I mean, they got their own lingo. They call excuses Johns. They call minors consenting adults. And they call this a proper controller. Which... Oof, there it is. Which segues me nicely into the next category, Epic Gamer Gear, or EGG for short. We all know that guy, probably named Doug, only refers to his computer as his battle station, created a custom mount for his joystick and steering wheel out of plywood with a cup holder so he can enjoy a nice refreshing Pabst Blue Ribbon while he plays Euro Truck Simulator or the Squeakquel Space Truck Simulator. So what do you get for the man who has everything? 360-degree gaming chair. Yes, you can buy this. At that point, why don't you just snuggle up into a sensory deprivation tank and think about what you've done? You a plane boy? Boom. Train boy? Boom. Game boy? Boom. Lane boy? Uh-huh. And then there's all the RGB, Hexbug, Nano, Cyberpunk gamer gunk over here. But there's already a huge market for that stuff, and it's only growing as more and more people get sucked into the black hole we call League of Legends. And that's kind of the problem, isn't it? Everything's becoming hyper-optimized. It's all utility and there's barely any style left. Xbox and PlayStation have calculated the ergonomics of their controllers down to the nearest Brazilianth decimal place. When was the last time we saw anybody innovate in this space? The most recent thing I can think of is Nintendo charging $80 for cardboard, and that's sucky. But I respect where their head's at, I really do. Truth be told, with games becoming less physicalized and controllers becoming more refined and companies just generally being more risk-averse, I don't think we're gonna see many more wacky, kooky, zany controllers in the future. I'd love to be proven wrong. I mean, I adore all these guys. Plus, I got a confession to make. Deep down, I'm a Doug too. Does this mean we're nearing the end for #quirky, #controllers that don't quite conform to the norm and instead lock themselves in their rooms and create a Tumblr blog called Just Donkey Kong for the Nintendo GameCube Bongo controller things? It certainly seems that way. But it's not all bad. See, there's been an entire secret 6-category, the true egg I've been incubating this whole time. Hey. You come here often? Allow me to introduce you to the VR tracker node. Although it may look like an ungodly Chernobyl hockey puck, this bad boy can turn anything into a controller. Slap it on a tennis racket and play Racquetball 2077. Grab a Pop-Tart, take a bite out of the corner, pop a note on it, and boom, you got yourself a brown sugar cinnamon desert eagle, baby. Mommy's wacky little flashlight that vibrates? That's a lightsaber now. Plus, the proliferation of VR will probably have a profoundly positive impact on battle station gear. I mean, the name of the game is immersion, and what could be more immersive than staring into Sonic's singular vortex eye through your VR goggles? So although the schlocky controllers that I love so dearly, but are really only useful for 1 or 2 games, may be a dying breed, I think when VR becomes more of a household staple, there will be a controller renaissance. So am I saying we should all go buy VR headsets? Well, aren't you in luck, because I wrote a song about it. You ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. No! Of course not. Seriously, what did you expect? Right now, virtual reality is just not consumer ready. You need a room the size of the Grand Canyon, a wallet as deep as the Mariana Trench, and you gotta put up with this cable hanging off the back of your head like the hanky-panky braids from Avatar. VR is a prototype in the same way that motion controls were back in the olden days of yore. But there will come a day when we're living in Ernest Cline's wet dream. When all VR headsets come equipped with Spy Kids 4D smell-o-vision, and mommy can't come refill your Mountain Dew Code Red IV bag because she's plugged into the chair playing Animal Crossing We Live in a Society to remind her of when civilization existed and the virus was the only thing we had to worry about. And so you remove your gaming blue light filter glasses only to see that the horizon was orange anyway because we've consumed all that we can consume and the earth has nothing left to give. The only butterflies remaining on the planet are the ones in your stomach. Your only consolation is that the flaming inferno atmosphere will soon be extinguished by the rapidly rising water levels which are swallowing up the little remaining landmass and with it all terrestrial life. And so you splash over to your gaming chair as the water rushes in and you take a deep breath and you pull your headset over your eyes and you release yourself as the nitrous oxide kicks in, because what is left for us to do in this world other than the only thing we can remember how? Consume. Yo, remember when they made a Wu-Tang Clan controller though?